A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy, far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah, yes, the note. Slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way it shows a bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only sign of the time passing in the stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time is slowed to a crawl. That was lag. I apologize. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone's approaching me from behind. Hisao? You came? A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams. My heart begins to race. It was my sister. Iwanako? I got a note telling me to wait here? It was yours? Damn it, I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line. That was the best I could do? Pathetic. Yes, I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joy smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle even if I tried. Oh, what is this? My heart. It's pounding. It's as if it were trying to burst out from my chest and claim this girl for itself. By the way, it's not my sister. I just made that up. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine as she lazily twirls her long dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart, trying to say, yes, I would, bitch. Be mine. I wanted to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Yes, how? I reach up to try to massage my throat, but the suddenly sends spikes of blinding pain along my arms. Hisao? My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Hisao! The beating of my chest suddenly stops and I go weak at the knees. The water around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, and Iwanako running towards me, all these fade to black. The last things I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Iwanako screaming for help and the incessant clatter of the branches above. I fucking died. Rip. Psych! If you've been a fan long enough, you know what the fuck's my first video ever on this channel. You know what the fuck is the most viewed series ever on my channel. That is, of course, Katawa Shoujo, we're here. We're gonna do this. I've been reinvigorated to do all the paths. I can't leave the past beyond. Settled? Sure. Fucking in here, boys and girls. And in between. We're going for another run at Katawa Shoujo. And god damn it, do I feel great. It's been forever, damn it. Like what, 4 fucking years since there's been anything Katawa Shoujo on this channel? Here the fuck we are. It's about to get lit. Different time. Same old shit though. And if you have seen this story or a playthrough, or this playthrough of mine before, don't spoil anything for people that want to see this run. Even though there already is another run on my channel. You can find it in the playlist. It's like one of the first ones. But here we go. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. In that whole time, I can probably cut the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts. So, I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. A strange word. A foreign, alien one. One that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally be way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently, I had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. But to be frank, it really didn't do a damn thing for me. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from my treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get-well gifts began trickling down to shortly nothing afterwards. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy was the only thing they could do. It was a class project. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. And Wanako was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about after when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they're in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries would work. So I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest slowly change its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of omen. I still asked the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows that there is at least some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library, if you could call it that, at the hospital. Although it was more like a storeroom for books, I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time, and After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit of an addict. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mass I was trapped inside, instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the books aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was gonna cry. But that happened only rarely, and I couldn't even cry. Today, the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here too. It's been a few days since I last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There's this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time, sorting his papers, then setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Then, he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eye for a moment. "Hello, Sal. How are you today?" I don't know how to answer him, but I smile a little back at him. "I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medication sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription." The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. Yeah, so many. I take it from his hand and take a look myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, contradictions, and dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of it. It's only it makes me feel sicker. All of this for the rest of my life? Every day? I'm afraid this is the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I felt better if he didn't say anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please, calm down, Sal. Listen. Just listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down! The way he says it tells me that he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled now? Whatever my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least, not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken with your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What? Am I? It has a 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on the campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital nearby at the selling point. Of course, it's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you, son. We went out there and had a look a couple weeks back. I think you'd like it. It looks like I really don't have a choice, do I? Compared to your other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school. Wow, it's not the same one. A special school, that's An insult. That is what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. It's all the schools, all the students are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. What? That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important is decided for me. But what can I do about it? It's... A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I had always thought of my life was actually kind of boring. But now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now. Something about how I can go back to school anyway, but... No. I don't say anything. The fact is that I know now it's futile. I look around the room, feeling tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That's all I can think of to get me through this. At least I still have something, even if it's a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start. And my life isn't over. It'd be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking of that. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. And that's going to open up back to work, folks. It's Sal mad as fuck about everything that's kind of going on, and I can't really blame him. Yeah, man. It's not cool to just all up and sudden be like, yeah, you're going to school now. Have fun with that. Well, anyway.